Hello, everybody. Lex the Gray here. Welcome back to episode 1 of a new Savage Worlds one-shot solo play. This will be called Cold Extraction. We have two characters. We have Jax and Keera. Jax is on the bottom left of the screen. Keera is on the bottom right. Jax is a human male. He's roughly 42 years old, and he's a mercenary. His background, he's a battle-hardened ex-soldier, now takes mercenary work, just to stay busy. Keera is a human female, 28 years old. She's a freelance tech operative. Her background, she's a hacker, ex-corp techie, lives for the high-risk jobs worth the pay. So, on the battle map here, we have Dice 1, that will be Jax, and Die 2 will be Keera. Let's go over their details, just so you get to know them a little more. The hindrances for Jax, he's bloodthirsty. That's his major hindrance. His minor is a phobia of mice. That's -2 trait if we roll anything that has to do with mice. His edge is brawny. So he is the bronze of the group, the tough one. That gives him +1 toughness. The hindrances of Keera. Her major is curious, and her two minors are greedy, and quirk is talks to tech. So when she's working her magic, she's going to mumble to herself. She may talk to the tech like it's a person, stuff like that. Her edge is luck, so that gives her an extra Benny per session, just off camera there. Jax has 3 bennies, Keera has 4. The backstory here is, they've both been hired together. They do not know each other. This is their first mission, but they are well respected in the market for what they do. They've been hired by an individual named the Broker to find a very valuable piece of circuitry. This setting will be modern day, not too distant future. There will be AI, tech, and mutated wildlife creatures. Just as a heads up. They're looking for an abandoned government site called the Arclight Research Facility. This is in northern Alaska, just shy of the Arctic Circle. So conditions are cold, frigid. This river you see here is completely frozen. There are rocks everywhere and higher terrain surrounding most of the map. Our two characters just got dropped off via helicopter, which just left the scene, and they're about to venture off to look for this abandoned U.S. government facility, again known as the Arclight Research Facility. Now, that's all I'm going to tell. We are going to uncover as things move on. I don't know how long this will go for, but this is definitely the first region on the map for this episode. We know the conditions are cold. I will say it's snowing. It's probably early spring, late winter. Now, as far as items go, Jax and Keera both have winter gear. They are prepared to an extent for this task, for this mission, so they didn't go in blindly. Their contact has informed them of the mutated wildlife in the area. The rumors are that these mutated wildlife creatures roaming the grounds are subjects and related to the abandoned government facility that was closed, shuttered decades ago. So they have populated the area, and it's considered dangerous and off limits to the general public. Anywho, the Broker gave them directions, coordinates to the facility, but they have to travel. They have to walk there because there is no safe spot to land the helicopter over the facility. The facility may be 1 or 2 episodes away. I want both Jax and Keera to do some traveling, to do some walking. Perhaps we'll get to know each other. But basically, they have some walking to do, so they might as well get the steps in for the day. It's early evening. The flight, they left from, let's say, Anchorage, the nearest biggest city, flying in probably from the States, from domestic United States. But they're ready to begin. Now, I will show you their character sheets if you want to take a snapshot or pause it to see their stats, just so I don't have to waste time going over their stats. But typically when I do trait tests of sorts, I will explain what I'm doing, what they're trying to achieve, and what dice or die I will be using. They're obviously both, this is Keera, by the way. The first one was Jax. He's the top left sheet. Bottom left sheet is Keera. Now, Keera, again, she's the brain, she's the tech-savvy one. Jax is the bronze, he is the ex-soldier, muscle, the gunman. So, we'll have to take that into account in terms of roleplay. But, landing here, I'm going to assume the noise of the helicopter blades, the helicopter itself, has probably spooked the wildlife in the area. As we know, the wildlife is mutated. To an extent, they are going to be dangerous and deadly. So we do not expect any wildlife just walking on by, waving, hello, how are you today, can I help you? Looking for the nearest town. They are going to attack. They're vicious, and there's going to be possibly often encounters throughout this one-shot. Now, you probably can barely hear it, but there is going to be the noise, the background ambience of wind, if you can hear it, as I'm also doing an audio check while I blabber on in the background. Anywho, I want to figure out what happens the minute they land and prepare. They grab their gear. They both have backpacks. That's pretty evident. They both have phones. They have, well, Keera has more tech, while Jax has obviously a little less to carry. He has a pump-action shotgun, which is 3d6, Kevlar vest, brass knuckles, winter gear, grappling hook, and foam. Like I said, Keera has a bit more. She has a backpack, phone, crowbar, lighter, toolkit, normal clothing, night vision goggles, cell interceptor, tablet that has built an AI system, a micro tool, which is a custom item that gives a +2 to lockpick, and then her winter gear also. Now, the custom skill I'm using here, not necessarily custom skill, but lockpicking. I could have put hacking, but I just used the skills from the Savage Worlds Deluxe Sports Edition book. Lockpicking I'm going to use for anything that has to do with accessing a mainframe and unlocking or jailbreaking a door. So even if it's digital, I'm still considering it lockpicking. May also coincide with knowledge, which is her highest skill at D8. Lockpicking is at D6. All right, let's figure out what they will encounter in the first moment of this one shot. We will be using our good old friend, the one-page mythic, which I absolutely recommend and love to use. Not a sponsor. Let's first roll for action. 92, which is going to be the start. Well, that's very appropriate. This is literally the start. Now for description, 90, another 90. Simple. Okay, so perhaps nothing out of the ordinary will happen. It's going to be a simple start, which is very unexpected for them both. So they make their way to here. They're walking parallel with the frozen river. They're not going to, at the moment, walk across it, but they reach this split, this fork. And they know they have to go east, which is to our right. They're not going north through here. And as they reach this split, Jax looks just to his left to see this dead end, which he ignores, looks to the right, and he sees the frozen river descending this way for FYI. Water would typically go this way and will split both here and here, or perhaps this river also goes to here and combines and goes downward, downstream. So downstream basically goes west in that respect. But Jax is looking at this direction here, this path, and this path. He's just kind of holding his pump action shotgun, looking left and right, trying to figure out which way to go. He looks to Keera. Keera is nose deep in her tablet. She has not looked away as she follows Rex. Jax turns to Keera once again and says, well, which way is it? And obviously on the tablet that Keira's using, it has a map, possibly their GPS location, a thermal of the whole area, because it's going to be, again, it's in evening hours, so the sun is setting. She gives Jack night vision goggles. She says, here, take this. She's not very social, but she wants to make sure that he is well supplied. She jokingly says, well, she doesn't joke. She says, you forgot these back in the helicopter. And he says, I don't need these stupid things. She says, well, if we use a flashlight, we'll give away our position. We need to tread carefully here. We need to play it smart. So he takes the guy goggles and puts them on his head, but not on his eyes yet. Just they're on his head. So she's looking at her tablet, and she points, well, let's roll for it. Which 1 through 3 is this direction here. 4 through 6 is this direction here. She points this way. So they have to cross this very small frozen river, and Jax looks left and right. He kind of taps his foot on the ice to make sure it's safe. And as he does, he's a big guy. He's not exactly thin. So let's ask the Oracle, can the ice support their weight? This is just a general question. Can the ice support their weight? This is not a trait related. I'm going to say, you know what, 50-50, just to make it interesting. It does not. That's 61. So, as Jax, remember, they have to go this way. As Jax kind of taps the frozen river stream, it cracks easily. Like, he taps it, puts a little pressure on it, and it cracks. He sees some fish going by. Jax looks to, he looks at Keira and says, well, we're not going to walk on this. We're going to have to jump. And that's barely any effort. This is like less than an inch per tabletop measurement here in Savage Worlds. So that's what, 5 feet? Less than 5 feet? So Keira just kind of casually jumps. Because, again, she is agile. That's a D8. I'm not going to even roll for it. She turns back. Jax, again, he's a big guy. Doesn't have any less pace, though. His agility is also D8. So, surprisingly to her, he does jump it. No problem. I don't really think that's worth a roll. But as I jump here, because again, they have to go this direction, there is a noise in the back behind them. So they're both, she's facing Jax. Jax just kind of, he does that very effortless jump. And they hear a creature. They hear footsteps from behind them. They turn around. The sun's setting, so they both use their night vision goggles, and they can hear footsteps coming their way from this direction, like where my pointer is illustrating. Now, we're going to do 2 notice rolls per character, or we're going to do a notice roll per character. Now, notice for Jax is a d6 along with the wild die, so we're rolling for Jax first. What does he come up with? -4. I'm sorry, 4 target number. If 5 is successful, he can hear a pair of footsteps. Now, Keira, her notice is also a d6. What does she roll? Oh, okay, so she doesn't, she was too bothered talking to Jax, but Jax kind of looks past her, leans to the left, and he can see there are 2 creatures approaching them. 2 wild creatures. So he grabs Keira and shoves her to the side behind her, like so, and he has his gun aimed in the direction of these 2 creatures. Now, what we know already, like I stated, these creatures will be, any wildlife in the area is going to be a threatening, because this area has been populated with wildlife spin-offs from that, mutated spin-offs from that facility decades ago. So this whole area has become a home to these mutated weird creatures. So what we get is two individual, what appear to be two mutated killer wolves, white wolves. They stop and they howl, seeing, again, two humans. Orange dice will typically signify enemies. So 1 and 2, like that. They see and howl. Keera pulls out her, let's see, she has a weapon. I know that for sure. A derringer, nothing really impressive. But she pulls it out and she aims it at the creatures. Jax says, "Looks like our first kill for the day." And Keera smiles. So we are now going to be in combat for our first combat for this episode. What I typically like to do for Savage Worlds, I don't use playing cards, which you obviously can do per the book. I just simply roll 3d6, one wild die representing our team, and blue representing us, while red representing the enemy. We ace, but not necessarily need to ace on anything, because that is a unofficial rule, a house rule I use. So clearly because of the notice roll successful by Jax, we are able to go first. Jax is going to take his gun. Again, the pump action shotgun is well within range to shoot at the first mutated wild wolf that is just drooling a strange, I'm going to say something not normal looking, a fuzzy, weird goo coming out of his mouth, like a rapid. Just trying to look for what the gun's distance is. 12. Yeah, we're well within distance here. Okay. So he's going to use his gun and fire, which his shooting is a D8. So we roll D8 and a D6 for the wild die at the first creature, the first wolf, and that's a success. 4 is our target number. He hits. The 2 damage dice for the pump action shotgun is a 3d6, so a very good. I'm sorry. Here we go. So I forgot to mention, if it's a 1 on these red die, they're kind of orange die, but I'm going to call them red die. If it's a 1, they're D4 characters. If it's a 2, D6, 3, D8, so on and so forth. That's the difficulty. My prior Red Nova episodes, the die type was their maximum attack potential, ×2 was their damage, and their toughness was the highest number, so 6 if it's a D6, which these are both D6 creatures, but -1 typically for parry. However, I had a house rule in the last series, in Red Nova, where 4 was the target number for everybody, just to give the main characters a slight chance, a slight edge. And it did help, but because we have 2 characters in this one shot, I will have their toughness be -1 of their parry -1 based on the highest number of that die type. Their tier die, as I might call it. So 2s signify, represent D6s for these 2 wolves. So we're rolling for damage with our 3d6, the pump action shotgun. I'm not tracking ammo just yet, but I do have a method to track ammo. We have 1 ace, and we have 2 regulars. Another d6 to ace, and roll again. 3. So that's going to be, let's see, 6, 11, 14, 17. 17 is, and I printed this out, this little calculator here. Target number, because we're shooting, is 4. So 1, 2, 3 raises. This is actually very helpful. It's off that custom character sheet I found online. So that's 3 raises, which means it's going to be obviously an extra, thus he's killed. So this wolf has been gunned down, and now it is going to be Keira's turn. So Keira is going to, she can't exactly see, so she has to move. She sneaks up to the side, and when she has sight, she's going to open fire at the wolf. So Keera has shooting of a d6. So once again, 2d6s for shooting and the wild die. That 4 is a hit. Okay. Now her Derringer is obviously less effective compared to the pump action shotgun, but it's 2d6 plus 1. Rolling for damage. It's well within distance, even though it's only 5 inches. She's well within distance. That's a 5, which does actually hit the parry of 5. Toughness is actually 6. I'm sorry. That's not a hit. So the bullet flies by. Even though it hit, it did not damage enough the creature. So now it's the wolf's turn. Because Keera is close by, the wolf is going to strike at Keera. Unfortunately, she's not very tough. She has a toughness of 4. Her parry is 5. So the wolf is going to attack. It's just an extra, so it does not have an extra d6 for this attack. It's just a d6 attack. 1 is a complete fail. Okay, so she's lucky. She parries out of the way. Jax is going to just get on the edge here of the path and shoot at this wolf. So his shooting, once again, is a d8 and a d6. The wild die. Ooh, the 8 aces. Oh, that grants us an additional damage die. So even with that, he has 3d6, which means it'll be 4d6 damage. So we might gather 3 additional d6. Now I'm rolling for damage. He has a clean shot here. There's no way he'll not do any damage at all. Okay, so we have a pretty good roll, actually. In the end, yeah, the wolf's dead. No doubt about it. 12. Okay, yeah, that's 20. So this wolf just goes flying back. He doesn't be pissed, but yeah, it's mutated, so it's gone. The wolf goes flying back. It skids across the ice. It's an ugly sight. Keera looks away. Jax just kind of laughs as he sees the second victim for today. So they cleared out those 2 wolves, but remember, the wolves howled, and now several more appear, and they are all going to be crawling or appearing in the higher terrain surrounding them as they howl. Keera and Jax are going to hightail it out here. They're going to run. There's no way they're going to bother taking on these 4. Well, at least they can just see. You know what? Let's roll for it. Let's do another notice roll to see if they can spot these 4. So notice for both of our characters is a d6. Wild die, respectively. So, again, he guns down the last wolf, the mutated wolf, then looks up, and when that doesn't look up, he hears a howl. Actually, the question is, do they howl? Do the other mutated wolves, do they howl? 50-50. They don't. 24. So that's a yes. That is a howl. Okay, so notice roll to see them, not just hear them. Here is for Jax. Okay, ace. Okay, so that's going to be 8, which is 1 raise. Okay, so he has 1 raise. Now about Keera. He sees a raise, means he sees these 3 here. Oh, her wild die aced. Okay, I'll take it. 4? That's 10. That's 1 raise. She not only sees these 2, but she also sees, she can just turns around because she's smart. She's a smarter one. She turns, checks her back, checks her 6, and she sees this wolf here. Because of those 2 raises total for both characters as a group roll, if it's considered, she has a plan. And now, what she'll do is her plan is to basically tell Jax, we need to run out. We need to get out of here fast. So they're going to run. This will be basically here for her. So she's going to run over here. Jax will run right upside her. These wolves, he's going to jump down. It's tough terrain. He has to jump down. So I'm going to say wolves have an additional inch, so 7. Let's say pace is +1. Well, I'm sorry. We'll stick with 6, just to keep it easy. But we'll do -1. So because of that terrain, the wolf will just gonna get right here. This wolf rough terrain has to get across the ice, so he's following them. This wolf is right behind them. This wolf, though, jumps in the way, and now they are surrounded. But we're going to spend a Benny per character to influence the story. So Keera spends her extra Benny that she has to say that this wolf in front of them slipped because of, again, the ice, the snowy conditions, fell through, slipped, and skids across the, the Three Stooges, slides across and bumps into this rock. And they're able to get through out of this scene. The other Benny will be spent to say that these two wolves actually start to fight over the other dead wolves. They start to bite them and rip them apart. So these two are fighting. This one also joins the fray. This wolf here just slid across and bumped into the rock. Slid across the frozen ice. Actually, no. Fell into the frozen, because, again, the weight fell and slid through, broke through the frozen stream. And now is paddling, trying to get out. So this gives a chance. The wolves prefer dead meat compared to, again, food that's running away. So Keera and Jax are able to escape because of that convenience using the two bennies. So that's going to be it for this episode of the cold extraction. This was a starter. Just getting my feet in the water here. Just trying to get the sense of the land, see how our two characters do against some wildlife. And again, no animals were harmed in making this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.